Hello, everybody. This is Michael with Mikey Does Outdoors. Coming to you with another video from Eagle Nest Lake in Eagle Nest, New Mexico. It's a pretty good little deal. I stayed at a cabin this time and took my own little boat and did some fishing and then some sightseeing. And well, I hope you like it. If you do, please don't forget to subscribe and hit like and that you like the video. Thank you. This is my cabin I stayed at the Eagle Nest Cabins and Marinas there at Eagle Nest, New Mexico, at Eagle Nest Lake, right there by the lake. Pretty neat little cabin. They're great folks, uh, fun to visit with, and they're very informative as well. And the cabins are nice and comfortable. You can't beat it, I don't think. And I enjoyed my stay very much. This is I'm getting ready to go launch the boat, the Texas Minnow, and I thought these clouds were kind of neat, so I thought I'd put them in there. A little closer shot of it. Pretty neat place. Now I'm fishing, and I could admit that I didn't get me catching fish. Uh, I have a hard time. Seems like I do catching the video of me catching fish, But anyway, the lake was beautiful that morning. It was nice and calm, as you can see. And what I was doing was I had a Daredevil spinner on the I think it was either Daredevil or a Panther Martin, and I used one that has colors that are similar to a rainbow on it. And then I put a little bit of pink power bait on the hooks. There's a treble hook, and then I wet the hook, and then I cast it out, and then I let out probably 30, 40 yards worth of line, and then I sit there and troll with it. And I caught quite a few fish. I just caught them and turned and put them back, but it was nice. It was cold. That morning started off at 27 degrees, and that's in September. That's the first time I've ever been to that part of in Mexico in September, and it wasn't too bad. You got out there in the boat. I didn't have to wear a jacket when I was in the boat because the sun was shining. It warmed up nicely. It was a good day. And like I said, I caught several fish. They ranged anywhere from about a 10 or 11 inch all the way up to the one I actually measured was 15 inches. And it's not bad. It's fun to catch. That pole there I'm using is it's a Fluger Tryon spinning rod, real combo I got over at Cabela's, and had them loaded up with some 8-pound original string line, and it was a good one, just right for trolling and for catching those fish and that's all of a sudden about 11:30 or so. It went from being calm to the wind just blowing and howling, and so I'd gotten pretty far from the boat ramp, and so I started working my way back slowly. By then, my battery for my trolling, because I use a transom mounted trolling motor for my little boat, and I have 2 extra batteries on there, but I had decided because it was so nice I was going to just wait and see how far the first one went before I changed. I was kind of wishing I'd changed it now, but I made it back. It just wasn't a fast thing, probably didn't need to be because of all those waves, but I'd ride with the waves a little bit and then I'd edge over because I had to go all the way over to that other side, and at first I had to get past a point that was kind of shallow and the grass was growing up, and then I could work my way back. But I had to be a good mile away from the boat ramp probably. But it was I never felt like I was going to turn over or anything. But some of those waves were probably nearly as big as the boat. But I've learned through the years that boats don't want to sink or flip over. If you just ride the waves, you can. If you start fighting it, that's when you're probably going to turn over. Or if you try to buck the waves and do something that's because you're panicking or something, that's when you'll wind up flipping over. If you just ride it and just kind of move with the boat, and they can get big enough waves probably that they'd flip right over, but that wasn't happening today. And you can see back in the back some of the waves are white capping. I think the next section of video, I'll show you more whitecaps. But it started whitecapping and stuff before I got to the ramp, but really wasn't that bad. I probably could have kept fishing, but I didn't want. I've not experienced enough yet with it all, and I didn't want to take any chances. I do always wear my life jacket in these small boats, and because you don't know what'll happen that could save your life, and so better to be safe than sorry, and have to say you wish you had have, or somebody else say they wish you had have because you're dead. But it was pretty wild getting back. And those boat seats are kind of rough, but I bought one of those throwing those uh, cushions that you can throw out to somebody that floats and helps to rescue somebody that needs it. And I was sitting on that, so which made it a lot better. But it's not; those aren't very soft, so I'm gonna need to be redoing the seats anyway, so I may have to rethink my cushions. Yeah, I see back there. You can see the white caps back there. It was getting windier and windier, but not that bad really. But it was a little bit of chore to get all the way over to the boat ramp because it was wanting to blow me past it. Yeah, and this was the next day. I saw this neat looking cloud over there. That's looking towards Angel Fire, and you don't think about it. We're at 8,000 some odd feet, and so that cloud's just a low cloud, you know. But neat. You get to see a lot of stuff like that up there. And this cloud was all over the mountain. Thought it looked pretty neat. And then this at the Eagle Nest Lake is a sidewalk all the way down to a pretty neat fishing pier. It's for handicap accessible, and you could roll your way right down to that fishing pier and fish if you had it, or even if you're in a wheelchair. And they have guardrails on it, so you're not going to go rolling off or anything. And then one thing that I found neat last time, and I couldn't get a good picture of, is they have pelicans there, and there's like a few of them down there. And that's just a view across the prairie as I went to look for some wild horses that I'd heard about. So I give you a look at that first, and then here we go. We got some wild horses here. I finally found the wild Mustangs. I had to get up early that Friday morning and go out there, and I was able to find them. Um, but they're pretty neat. They weren't too worried about it until I stopped. I stopped right in the middle of the road because there wasn't anybody coming, and there wasn't any way to pull off and take pictures. And so I just stopped right there and turned my flashlight on and started shooting pictures. And they got on alert and were watching me and making some noises and stuff. And then I decided I went over towards the Taos. They have a Rio Grande Gorge Bridge that is fantastic to see. And then this view is from there. You can see the thunderstorm coming down pretty good. And here's part of the canyon, the gorge, which are like 200 feet above the water. And it's just fascinating to see. Everybody that came through there just couldn't believe how neat it was. And they have it pretty well marked nowadays. They didn't in the past. But you can see down there, all that's down at the surface. You can see it just flowing and carrying on. And it's noisy. All the way up there, you can hear it roaring. I didn't leave the sound on because too much traffic and other things going on to really hear it all good. But even as high as we are, you can hear that thing just roaring. And they have whitewater rafting and stuff that goes through there. It's pretty neat. Sometimes when I've been there, I've seen a whitewater rafter coming through. Would have been fun to see one that day because I could have. This camera's good enough. I could have got a good shot of it. But oh well. Oh, and then there's this little cabin community called Ottawa where we used to go. We were kids. I went up there and found these mule deer, and they don't care if you're up there. They're used to people up there. And this one was kind of funny. I got her with her head down grazing, and then she'll pops her head up and looks over at me, and then it's kind of funny. She's wondering if she should be worried or not because they know they're smart. They know right there they're not normally have to be worried. So she started grazing again. She probably has her eyes on me. You can't really see if she does or not, but I bet she does. And it's kind of funny. I leave my little camera, even though it doesn't have an actual mirror, I leave it on noisy so I can hear it. And she was hearing that, I think, and she popped her head back up and tilted one of her ears towards me. I don't know, kind of fun, I think. Fun to be that close. Because none of the deer got too excited about me being there unless they were in the road and I kind of gave my pickup a little gas and they jumped out of the road pretty quick. Anyway, she decided I wasn't a threat and went back to grazing. And here's some more views of the lake. That we called that one up there Mount Baldy all the time I've been around. And you can see the lake, how choppy it is. That wind was howling. That was Saturday morning. And that they had started a fishing derby thing for trout. You get biggest trout and stuff. And then, but at pike roundup, they have pike in there and they don't want it in there because they seem to be affecting the trout populations. And so they're having a big trout roundup down there. I mean, a pike roundup. And they were people giving prizes for the biggest and the most caught and that kind of thing. And then Cimarron Canyon, in between Eagle Nest and Cimarron, there's this canyon and there's this real neat stream that runs through it. Thought I'd get some looks at that, and pretty neat little place. We used to go there and do some fishing, and there's several places to camp, and they even have somewhere there's little ponds. It's perfect for kids if you want to take kids there, let them fish in the little, they call them lakes, but they're little ponds, and they stock them with fish, and so it's fun to sit there and catch fish. I've done that as an adult too. It's fun to catch them, but I always give way to the kids at those places if there's kids. And there's a Palisades. We used to go here all the time. Matter of fact, they used to have a little Wednesday evening worship service there if you wanted to do that kind of thing. But they have this neat formation over there, and there's streams sitting right there that we used to fish at as well. And so, and we always had picnics and stuff. Fun places all over those places. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube. I'd appreciate your support. Thank you.